Pastor, what does your church look like? I'm Dr. Ray, and welcome to this week's Hosea International Speaks. Pastors, over the last few weeks, we've been dedicated towards you building a better, stronger local body so that you can take your city for Yahweh. I would hope that you would take full advantage of the resources that are provided, and I will give those at the end of the session. The question that was put to you at the beginning or in the introduction was, what does your church look like? Is it one that all pastors should be? This is one of the questions that all pastors should be asking themselves. And the first thought that we should rid ourselves of is, what would my organization think of the direction that my local body, is heading towards? Or what will they think of the implementation of the type of warfare attitude? Well, Pastor, you and your church are the ones that are going to have to deal with the adversary and the atmosphere over your city, over your locale. And you can't fight this type of warfare the way we used to do it. This is an in-your-face enemy, and you have to get into his face and kick him out of your city and out of your region. So with that being said, let's look at 7 characteristics of a governing church. We'll only be looking at 2 today, because of the importance of knowing each area and implementing them right now in your church. First of all, let's look at the first one. Your church rises into the spirit to dislodge the powers of hell. A governing church is a church that rises into the spirit realm and dislodges the powers of hell over that region and positions herself to rule and reign. The church rises in the kingly anointed and authority to execute kingdom rule and judgment over the powers of the air. The church needs to be reminded at times as to exactly where she stands when it comes to dealing with the principalities and powers and rulers of darkness of this world and spiritual wickedness in high places. Remember, our fight is not against people, just the spirits that hang over them. Remember our fight, and just sometimes we need to cast them out, even of people, if not just our areas. Remember, or Revelation 1:6 says this, that we have been made kings and priests to his God, talking about Christ, and Father. To him, Christ, be glory and dominion forever and ever. What have we been made? Kings and priests. This action of Yahweh places us in a position to be over the darkness of this world, to rule, number one, as kings, and then to operate as priests. Revelation 5:10 repeats this and then adds to our responsibilities, and have made us kings and priests to our God, Eloheinu. And notice the addition, and we shall reign on the earth. Notice where we reign, on the earth and not in heaven. We dislodge the spirits in the heavens so that we can reign peacefully on the earth. But then there is always some renegades, or there are some renegades out there that just want to cause havoc in the ranks, and it takes some extinguishing to put out the fire's enemies, the enemy's fire. Understand that we have been sent as emissaries into the earth to reign here in place of our Father. That is called apostolic. This needs to be taught to our parishioners too. For example, as you as a pastor have to deal with the principalities over this city. Your congregants or your parishioners will have to deal with the little ones over their neighbors, their block, or their area of employment or sphere of influence. In other words, when they go out to their jobs every day, they may need to deal with the principalities and powers and rulers of darkness over their area, over their sphere of influence. And sometimes those areas may be a little harder to extract than the enemy that you might be dealing with, because sometimes people may get in the way. The second area is to reposition herself. The church needs to reposition herself to become the stronger man. A governing church repositions herself spiritually to become the stronger man over the demonic forces and overrules the activities of the enemy. She exercises a new spiritual position as the territorial spirit in that region. She exercises that. Last week I mentioned to you that you were regents of the place you were given. The word regents means a person who governs a kingdom in the minority because of the sovereign or the absence of the sovereign. In the absence of Yahweh, Jesus, and Holy Spirit, you, the pastor, have been the authority or have been given the authority to reign in that physical or in their physical absence. I say physical absence because we know that the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit are with us at all times. They reside in us, giving instructions and sending angelic help in times of need. So we need to, and also teach that to your parishioners, Pastor. Teach that they too operate as kings and priests in the earth, and that they have the authority and the backing of the Godhead to knock out, destroy, uproot, just clean out, and then begin to replant what Yahweh is placing in their lives. Well, in closing this week, we will pick up here at next week. But I want to tell you just one thing, Pastor, before in closing. You, in the words of Mordecai, you have been called to a time for such as this. And if you fail to do that, Yahweh has somebody else to fulfill or to fill in that position. And so we are to take our place. Let's win this battle together. Well, in closing, let me say this. If you wish to purchase the material, you can go online to jonathan-david.org/shop and download the materials, which are the two of them, Apostolic Strategies Affecting Nations and Apostolic Blueprints for Accurate Building. Now, the cost in US dollars comes to about $22, and you can purchase both of these as ebooks so that you can have them in your possession immediately and then follow along with me, or if you need to, pastors, move ahead. Hey, we're here to build Yahweh's church, not compete. And if I can help you in any way, so be it. Well, if you enjoyed this session, go ahead and hit the like button. And if you haven't yet, subscribe. Now is a good time. And if you wish to write, comment, or just say hello, you can email me at two addresses, hoseainternational@yahoo.com or hoseaintspeaks@gmail.com. And if you wish to give, you can scan one of the 2 QR codes there on the screen. I'm Dr. Ray, and I'll see you next week on Hosea International Speaks.